Howdy ho, Andrew aka Calfier here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to React Friday. So, full transparency, I am a huge Fallout fan. And yet I've never played Fallout 1, Fallout 2, or Fallout Tactics. Now, the reason for that is back in the 90s, we didn't really have the internet. Like, we did, but not to what you guys are used to nowadays. So you couldn't pull up a wiki or a review or something and see about a game. The only way to get the reviews was to go into a gaming store and talk to the workers there or buy magazines, which were honestly grossly overpriced for what they offered. So I didn't buy a lot of magazines, and I went on a lot of word of mouth back then. And when Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and Fallout Tactics released, the word of mouth in Edmonton was these were first-person shooters or top-down shooters. And I've never been a big shooter guy. I've mellowed over the years. Mass Effect was really, you could say, my turning point in that, where they brought in the shooter mechanics, but they had the RPG storyline that I loved, and that's really where I started playing shooters or RPGs with shooter elements. But Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics, well, the word of mouth was always that these were shooters. These were not RPGs. Now, I know that to be false now, but that's what it was then. So back then, I just said, no, I'm not interested. There's other games I can play that I'll like. And that's what I did. So I never played Fallout until Fallout 3. And when I played Fallout 3, I fell in love with the environment. I fell in love with the concept. I fell in love with the potential. And I didn't even mind the shooter aspect of it, to be honest. The writing, like all Fallouts, wasn't that good, but everything else was really engaging. So I never played Fallout 1 or Fallout 2 or Fallout Tactics. And I do own them. And I went back and I tried to play them. And personally, I found them too dated. They're just too dated. They're too clunky. I would love for a good studio, not Bethesda, because I'm about ready to wipe my hands with Bethesda. But I would love for a good studio to remaster Fallout 1, Fallout 2 with modern day graphics and engine and everything, because I have a suspicion that I would absolutely love these games. It's just, they're so dated now. Like, some games you can play, even though, like, I still go back and I play Might and Magic 1 RPG, and it's older than Fallout, and it's very dated, yet it's still playable. I replay the old Gold Box games. Again, very dated. Very dated. EGA graphics, not even VGA graphics, EGA graphics. But I find them enjoyable and playable. So some of the old games I can go back to and play. Some games like Fallout 1, 2, and Deus Ex 1 and Invisible War, no matter how many times I try, I just can't go back and play them. And even if they have a revisionist patch, it's still too clunky for me. So, it's all about our own personal desires. But I have friends that loved Fallout 1 and 2 that I met later in life, and they've told me about the games and how much they enjoyed them. And honestly, if I had known it was an RPG back in 97, I believe that was when this game came out, I would have probably loved it, because I wasn't spoiled by modern day engines and everything. So back in those days, I would have probably loved it. But again, it was being marketed, at least in the Edmonton area, as a shooter. It wasn't being marketed as an RPG. So I really wasn't interested, especially back then. Like, I didn't do the shooter stuff back then at all. I didn't touch them at all. So, I missed out, and that's bad on me, but I did try later on, and I couldn't play them. But what I got for you guys today is a video of a person going back to play Fallout 1. And I'm going to run his video, and I'm going to add my impressions in, because I watched a bit of this video. I haven't watched the whole video, but I watched a bit of the video before deciding to do this, and some of the way he approaches this really didn't sit well with me, and some of it I fully agreed with. So anyway, So let's sit back for React Friday, and we'll watch Mr. Savior attempt to play Fallout 1 for the first time. This is a year-old video, so this would have been 2024 he did this. All right.
I forced myself to play Fallout. Not these games. The first one from 1997. And the original Fallout is ridiculous. I sat myself down and really tried to play this game. I couldn't use any guides or tutorials, just me, myself, and I. And my goal was to answer if this game is even worth playing. Could I even have fun with it? And if anyone else should even play this older game in the series. So let me show you a little bit of my experience with Fallout. For one, this game doesn't have you trying to find your son, father, or even getting revenge on a man while wasting your life in a casino listening to Marty Robbins. To the town of our freedom. The main premise for this story is that you need to help your vault get a water chip by heading over to Vault 15 and...
This is funny because I used to run a Fallout tabletop campaign. And as I said, I never played Fallout 1 or 2 or Tactics. So I honestly didn't know the storyline. And in my campaign, when I wrote it, homebrewed campaign, it just made sense that the vault dwellers that escaped the vault into the apocalypse would be looking for a water chip. I called it something else, but it was a water chip. Go in and get clean water for the vault. Made perfect sense to me, so that's what I did. And then one of my players is like, this is the storyline from Fallout 1. I'm like, is it really? So I had no clue. So I found that really ironic and funny.
Borrowing one of theirs. They let you know this by giving you a sticky note on your Pip-Boy stating 150 days left. Congratulations, you now have an in-game timer, in which if those days hit 0, bye-bye. So after creating your character, you get thrown outside the vault and have to fend for yourself. Right away, you have to figure out how to get used to how the UI looks, use your inventory, and use the supplies they give you. Luckily, the Overseer does give you a gun, because now...
When I did try to play this game, I guess it would have been about 2 years ago now. This opening area was such a frickin' nightmare to get through. It was like just little garbage mods, but the interface I found so clunky that, it was just a nightmare to get through this opening little area.
Now, you have to get rid of the rat infestation right in front of you. We missed. And now he's gonna hit me. Ah! 2 points of damage. Get the hell out of here. After spending 10 minutes on just getting rid of rats, you can now venture outside of your cave and have that beautiful desert sun beam right onto your vault-dwelling skin. Now, the traveling in this game isn't like your traditional 3D open world games. You don't see things in the distance. You have to use the map system. You just click on a tile and you're...
I freaking hated this travel system. I really did. And that's not even going back to 1997. Like, I played 97 games with far better travel system than this game. Like, this was one of the big detriments that really turned me off of this game when I tried to replay it or tried to play it 2 years ago, was this travel system you're seeing right now. It was not fun. And again, it was really clunky.
Character goes. It just works. Sometimes you run into random encounters. Now this can be a traitor or a gaggle of rat scorpions, but hopefully that last one doesn't happen before you get to Shady Sands. It's the first town you get introduced to. It pretty much acts like a tutorial. You can run around, talk to people, learn all the ins and outs of the game, recruit a companion named Ian, sure, and even get a jump scare when you talk to this person.
Greetings. Your business in Shady Sands might be...
Now after you speak to Aradesh here, he tells you to visit a rad scorpion cave and exterminate them. And then once you do that, the game just kind of exists in front of you when you get back. Your main goal is to get the water chip, but there's no waypoint and no guided in-game tracker. Just you and I guess also Ian's here. So you need to figure it out and really explore. I ran around the town of Shady Sands for a bit until I exhausted everything the townsfolk could tell me.
The graphics you're seeing were very commonplace in 1997. If you go play any of the Dark Sun Online games, they're very much this graphical. So this is very accurate and cutting edge for 1997. Like, I know in 2025 we'll look at this going, oh, that's horrible. But this was very accurate for 1997. I don't like this, so I didn't like it in 1997 when you saw the guy coming around the building and, it's like opening up a bit of the building until you can find the entrances. Like, I really didn't like that. Even back in 1997 in Dark Sun Online or other games that utilized it, I just I never liked that mechanic or engine, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. It's just viewpoint. It just never worked for me.
And then I left and ventured south. I came across a couple of random encounters leading up to a place called...
Oh, and I should say Shady Sands is where I stopped. I knew it wasn't for me. I knew I wasn't going to get any better with the interface being the way it was. And that's where I stopped. So moving forward, I didn't see any of this in the game. I just wiped my hands and moved on to the next game.
Called Junktown. I just started talking to every person I met. Just don't speak to the doctor when you're perfectly healthy. Similar to real life, they just take your money and tell you to leave. You seem to be in perfectly good health. That'll... $10? Are you kidding me? I eventually stumbled upon a man named Killian Darkwater. It's a pretty cool name. And in the middle of us talking, a man runs in and shoots him. What the hell? We dealt with the killer, and long story short, Junktown is in a gang war. You have Killian's boys versus Gizmo's, a nice fella who runs a casino, and the Skulls gang. I didn't find that much out about the Skulls gang, to be honest. They're just, I guess, chilling for now. Now, I don't like getting into drama. However, when Killian offered me caps to plant a listening device on Gizmo to confess that he's a very bad man, thus having Junktown hate him, I couldn't refuse. I beelined it over to the casino, and before I executed the job for Killian, I wanted to try my hand at gambling. I mean, it's there. Why not? Place your bets. You currently have 30 caps. How many would you like to bet? Let's put 15. Better luck next time. What the hell? I didn't even get to see it. Yeah. I didn't want to play again.
Yeah, nowadays, you'd see it spinning and the roulette and everything. Back then, it's like, here's your bet. Oh, you lost. You're done. Kind of like a VLT, just without the bells and the whistles. But still funny. I got to admit, I never gamble in games except for 2 games. Knights of the Old Republic, not number 2. They ruined the gambling in number 2. And on the speeder bike, they ruined it. That was the only part of number 2 I didn't like. So in number 1, I gambled a lot, but I always saved. And The Witcher. I frickin' was addicted to gambling in Witcher 1, 2, and 3. I won't lie. And I made a ton of money off it.
Let's do 15. I just lost all my money. This is probably the worst gambling system in a video game. I click the bet and you just tell me I lost it? What is that? I didn't want to be completely broke, so I reloaded my save file, and if you have a problem with that, I'm sorry. Listen, you get swindled and see how it makes you feel. And I went back out to carry my actual purpose. With the listening device strapped to my chest, I tried my best to make this Gizmo guy talk.
What do you want? I'm a busy man.
I chose the wrong option, and I just want to know how someone as stupid as you is still alive.
You know, I don't like it when people insult me in my own place. Izzo, escort our guest out through the window.
I'm dead.
Your bones are scraped clean by the desolate wind. Your vault will now surely die, as you have.
On the second attempt, I gave him the idea that we could double-cross Killian, and then I told him to say it louder into my pocket.
You're either real stupid.
On the third attempt, we got what we wanted. I went back to Killian and his guards, and we teleported to Gizmo and took him out. Easiest caps of my life. I still didn't have a water chip. You know, the whole reason why I'm out here. I traveled south and found the hub. But reality struck me. Why should I explore this place while my fellow vault dwellers are gonna die if I don't complete my mission? I had a gun, I had armor, and my companion Ian by my side. I knew what I had to do. So, I rushed over to Vault 15 in an attempt to get the water chip early. We met a caravan that didn't want to talk to us. I found a giant footprint with a stealth boy, which will come in handy later. And then we encountered some not so nice rad scorpions that Ian handled really well. 7 in-game days later, I don't know if my character eats food or drinks anything. This dude is just raw dogging the desert. Anyways, we made it to our destination. Down the ladder, Ian and I were greeted by some lovely rats. We took those out with ease. We came across our first mole rat, and this thing is disgusting. Ian handled that for me. Ian is great. Can we agree on that? I made my way towards the elevator shaft and I couldn't get down. I needed a rope? Where the hell am I gonna find a rope in the wasteland? I went to the closest settlement to our left, which was Shady Sands, and the first person I talked to had a rope. Wow. I still can't believe I got that lucky.
Welcome to the joys of 1990s RPGs. It's not just this game. Might and Magic, Ultimas, Goldbox, it's all the same. They all did this. It's just a little piece that you wouldn't think you need, and suddenly you need it. I think the funniest story I have was Wizardry, I think it was 5. And they had this item called the Thermal Pineapple. It was a hand grenade. And you get it really early in the game. Like really early. And you can use it. You can use it at any time. The problem is there's about halfway through the game is when you have to use it. But they don't tell you this. And they don't give you any indication of this. So if you use the thermal hand grenade before this, well, your game's over. You can't advance. And so you have to go back and reload. And if you've saved, or if you know where you saved, or maybe start the whole game over and just hold on to the thermal pineapple until you get to that point. It was such a waste of time, but this is how they developed back in those days. It was very unforgiving. Like nowadays, modern day players, they would not be able to play a game like this. I firmly believe that. They would not be able to play a game like this because it's too unforgiving. Same with the original Ultimas, same with the original Gold Box games, SSI Gold Box games, or, Might and Magic, or even the Wizardry I just mentioned, they were all too unforgiving, and they didn't have the forewarning, so you didn't know what you were doing until you got to that point to find out.
I think I'm ready, Seth. Ian and I took the rope, booked it back to the vault, because remember, we need that water chip. We made it down the shaft with our newfound rope and cleared out all of the hostiles, and we looted a locker that had grenades and a dynamite bundle inside. Sure, yeah, okay. But it didn't matter, since we would end up getting our hopes and dreams crushed. The rocks collapsed on the doorway, and we needed to find a water chip somewhere else. How the hell are we gonna do that? And then I remember that we found the town called the Hub. Maybe they knew where to find a chip. So we made another 7-day journey back towards the Hub, fighting creatures along the way. And while I travel back, now would be a good time to like the video and subscribe if you haven't. As the surrounding landscapes clear to the map,
as always, I will put Mr. Savior's YouTube channel address into the description of this video. So you can look at the rest of his videos. He's been around for quite a while, and he's got some really good videos, and you may enjoy them. But please subscribe to my channel before you subscribe to his. Please and thank you.
I noticed something peculiar. It looked like a city underneath undiscovered tiles. I rushed out of our current encounter, which, by the way, you can do that. If you're just getting absolutely mauled by rad scorpions, you can just run. They don't stop you. Well, they try, but you get the idea. And then I went to discover this mystery town.
Ghoul, that is a lot of ghouls. You know what? I don't think we're supposed to be there just yet. Necropolis.
With Necropolis discovered, a place I wanted to be very, very far away from, we headed back to our original destination, the Hub. I talked to everyone about the possibilities of a water chip. Anyone I could ask, I did so. And most people were asking for money, but in being quite the talkative individual, I landed upon something interesting. This town had water merchants. I was pointed towards their offices and asked the person behind the desk about their water supply. And she said something to me that I didn't want to hear. Apparently, Necropolis had a water chip.
Whoa, Necropolis? With all the ghouls?
The place with all of the ghouls. Yeah. I had to go back to that. Damn it. I didn't know how ghouls were going to react in this game. I mean, you've seen them in Fallout 4. I can barely shoot them while they swarm me in that game. So what's it going to be like here? With my current gun that was equipped, I knew that I was going to be in trouble. The problem with this gun is that during my turn, I can only fire a bullet once with my current stats. You have action points in this game. Unlike the newer games where AP is just your stamina meter, in this game it's what tells you what you can and can't do during combat. You move one tile, it's one action point. I needed something that could fire at least twice during combat. more bang for my buck. When looking at the map, leaving the hub, I saw Junktown north of us and realized I never looted Gizmo's body since they teleported us out of this building right after we axed him. So I went back to his corpse, and sure enough, a completely free gun for the taking. Now, all that was in the way was Necropolis, and these ghouls really stunned me at first. Those grenades that I found in Vault 15's locker seemed promising. I thought, why not test them on some ghouls? Surely it'll get rid of them easily, right?
Okay, so that just said it hit him for 31 and 21 points, and they're still alive? I'm sorry, what?
Either my throwing arm didn't work well, or these guys are built different. Luckily, they aren't all that fast, which allowed Ian and myself to shoot them from a distance and defeat them. Except for this one ghoul. They were chill, so we agreed to say truce, and then we climbed down a manhole, which led us to more ghouls. However, these were different.
Oh, you're peaceful? What the hell? I thought you guys were...
Were the ghouls up top always hostile, or did I just bomb them because I thought the ghouls were bad? Man, am I the asshole? I was told by this lovely fellow that there is a group led by someone named Set. So the ghouls up top were bad and they protected something for a higher force, and the ghouls that didn't want to help Set lived down here. Okay. Now they had a water pump, but it broke, so now they use a water chip to help clean their water. This ghoul leader that I'm talking to wants Ian and I to help fix the water pump, and then we can take the water chip. Alright, so I may have lied to him. I told him we'd fix the pump, but to be honest, I'm just gonna take the water chip and help myself. I was pointed in the direction of where they keep the chip, and I found myself at a very interesting roadblock. Larry and Harry, these super mutants don't...
So I gotta tell you a funny story from my Fallout tabletop game. So in the Fallout I was running, super mutants were evil. Plain and simple. I didn't bother with the touchy-feely crap. They were evil and humans hated them. And for the most part, the group that I was running through there accepted it, except for one player. And this was more about his real-world politics than anything else. But I got an earful from him that my game was racist because humans hated ghouls or hated super mutants, and you can't just hate something because it's different. And oh my freaking God, I'd never heard such. It's a game. You got villains, you got heroes, and you got neutral. These were villains. You kill the villains in these games. No, you have to let us talk to them. No, I don't. So, oh my goodness.
Like humans. So when I walked inside the building, Harry immediately started to talk to me, asking who I was.
Hey, you not look like ghoul. How come?
That's because I dressed up really snazzy today.
You not ghoul. I knew. Not full Harry.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
You not ghoul. Or to say, not ghoul, not be here.
Who's giving you orders?
Oh, you find out soon.
I was then forced against my will, and I was brought to this place.
Oh.
This other handsome super mutant began to interrogate.
So I don't care if this is 1970 or 1997. That's an awesome super mutant face. That's just spectacular. Even in that era.
Interrogate me, asking me where my vault is. All I had to do in order to be free from this situation was become one of them, a super mutant, and I'd be rewarded. Curiosity got a hold of me here, and, well, curiosity also killed the cat. Or in this case, me and my entire vault. I got dunked into a green vat of what I'm guessing is radioactive sludge, and, well, this is what happened to my vault.
I don't know what I expect.
But hey, remember, super mutants are good. They're just misunderstand. Don't do violence on them. Talk to them. Cuddle them. Hug them. Ask them about their feelings. Really.
expected, I guess. Yeah, they're just gonna... Oh my god. Oh my god.
So that was one of the endings to the game. Spoilers, I apologize. It was the bad ending, as you could have probably figured out.
Or were you just racist and that was the good ending? Something to think about, people.
The save file and tried the stealth approach. I took my stealth boy that I looted earlier and toggled it, allowing me to pass right by Harry. Well, I would have if my stealth skill was higher.
Hey, you not look like ghoul.
He instantly saw me and tried to kill me.
Holy shit. He missed?
Thankfully, on my combat turn, I was able to shoot Harry with a critical hit, making him fall down, allowing me to walk up to him and take his weapon. Harry had friends, though, and I didn't realize this until it was too late. And while I was dealing with Harry, Ian, this madman, had the idea of taking the other two behemoths away into a room, and he was lit on fire. I didn't see Ian in his last moments, but I heard the noise of his limp, lifeless body hit the floor. It was enough to make me sick. I took care of Harry, but I knew I couldn't handle the other two, so I fled. Like a coward, but I think Ian wanted me to do this. He had a hunch, something I never would have thought. I went right back into the town for some odd reason. The mutants didn't react to me. I still don't know why. Maybe because I wasn't invisible anymore? I really have zero ideas.
So you got to remember, back in 1997, there was no online patches. When a game released, it was very rare to get a bug patch. The game was the game. And this honestly looks to me like this is a bug that slipped through the game, is what he's describing. And this was the reality of gaming back in 1997. One of the games I really loved was called Knights of Legends. And it was a bug fest. Like, I loved the game because of the concept of it and the idea behind it, but it was a freaking bug fest. And I even downloaded the emulator version a few years ago, and it still had the freaking bugs. You know, they've never been fixed. So this was just the reality of gaming back in 1997. There's no reason to rant and rave about it because it was what it was. We didn't have digital bug fixes like we have nowadays.
Bug the game? The only idea I had was to get in there and find the water chip. I talked to a prisoner in a cell who I freed, and they told me that the entrance to get to the water chip was next to their cell. Down another manhole, I'd find a vault that had what I needed. I took out the glowing ghouls that were guarding the entrance, and then took an elevator down towards the lower floors. The only problem is that they had 3 guards posted up right near the water chip's location. They didn't have any reasons to think of me as an enemy, so I did something incredibly reckless. I strapped the dynamite bundle I found earlier onto my own body, set the timer, and waited.
Holy shit.
I somehow lived, and no other ghouls were alerted? It was perfect. I took the water chip, and I booked it out of the vault. The super mutants still didn't care about me. I was gonna be able to help my vault. I was gonna beat this game. Really? That was it? No more timer for the water chip. That was the shortest game I have ever played. I got to my vault. I went down to floor 3 and met face to face with my overseer. My vault was safe. Now I can sit back while the credits roll. The game is still going. I went back to the overseer because maybe I missed a dialogue option. He wants me to go back into the wasteland and get rid of some mutants and shut down the person making more super mutants. Well, at least I don't have to worry about the timer anymore. Congratulations!
And that's a big deal in these old games, is getting rid of that timer. Once you get rid of the timer, then it's an open world game. Like, Fallout's not the only one that did this style of design for their games. So, yeah, the timers back in the 1990s were really inflexible, and you really had to focus straight in on the quest at hand, get it done, and then you had the opportunity to play the rest of the game.
Congratulations, the rest of the world is now explorable without a timer. You can now finish the actual main story and all of the side quests. It was here when I realized how many more layers this game had. I didn't even know I had side quests until after I handed in the water chip. I continued my playthrough for over 10 more hours after everything you just saw here. This is my dude at the start of the game, and this was him at the end of the game. I gained new companions, R.I.P. Ian, found new guns, and even discovered new settlements, side quests, and even more Fallout charm to make me keep playing. In this video, I cut up so many minutes of me just walking around towns and asking people questions. My time spent just moving my mouse over every item just to see what it is. And of course, gambling my money at another casino I found. Also in this playthrough from start to finish, I died over 48 more times. Don't worry, I counted for you. I did.
If you don't like to die, don't play old games. It's that simple. Like Might and Magic, my first computer game on my Commodore 64 in 1986 was Might and Magic, the RPG, not Heroes of Might and Magic. And no word of a lie, I probably died 200-300 times just making it to level 5. It was so unforgiving, and it was just nerve-wracking how difficult the early games was. And like most games, once you got further and further along and got more powerful and more beefed up, the game actually became easier. But those early levels were just so painful because one misstep, you're dead. And in Might and Magic, death is permanent. It's not like you can reload at a save, but to get save, you have to go all the way back, and you can only save in the tavern. It's not like you can be out in the wilderness and save. So it was so unforgiving. So yeah, it's like if you don't like dying or dying bothers you in games, don't play the old 90s games. They're so unflexible. I grew up on it. They don't bother me on that aspect. It's like the grinding. I don't mind the grinding in games. I grew up on it. But for modern day gamers, I always laugh. It's like I would pay real money to watch modern, like a 20-year-old try to replay a game like this, or the old SSI Gold Box games, or the Might and Magic game, with the old games, because they've been brought up in a different era with a instant gratification mindset, and they would be so flustered in these old games. Like, patience is mandatory in these old games.
Say at the start of the video, I would only be showing a little bit of my experience, in case, I don't know, some viewers out there wanted to experience the rest of the original Wasteland for themselves. I want more people to play this game, and if I did show you the rest, well, this video would be probably 50 minutes longer than it already is. The difficulty also spiked heavily in this game. They want me to clear super mutants. I'm sorry, did you see those guys? They turned Ian into ash. It took me hours before I enacted my revenge on Ian's poor soot pile. I'll always miss you, buddy. I would highly recommend a guide or videos to help you. I spent around 18 hours in total playing this until I got the credits. You can probably shave 6 to 7 hours with help. I forced myself to do this. You don't have to. Make your life easier, please. From what I got, playing Fallout is this. It's a top-down gameplay experience that simply does not hold your hand. While, yes, you are technically the main character of this game, they certainly do not treat you this way. It is a rough and challenging experience, but my goodness, this game rewards critical thinking and patience. I didn't know what to expect when starting it up. More importantly, I did not expect to make a video out of this. I really thought I would play it for 30 minutes and then say, that was neat, and uninstall it. I genuinely had a blast playing this. If you were...
And that's true. If you're not obsessed with instant gratification, the 1990 games and 80, like the mid to late 80s, and then the 1990 games, they are a ton of fun and adventure. You know, they don't have the graphics of modern day games like Fallout 4, you know, or Starfield even, or, you know, any Cyberpunk 2077. We could only dream of that back in those days. But this was AAA back in 1997. As weird as that may seem to some of you, this was AAA. And these games had so much story and depth to them, because they didn't have the graphics and all the special effects and everything. So they really had to focus on story to draw you in. And if you've watched any of my videos, story is what still draws me in to this day. Like, if the story and the writing are not strong, I zone out of the game really quickly. You know, graphics, I love graphics. Like, Cyberpunk's 2077 is so freaking beautiful to me. I had a 1080 Ti, which ran Cyberpunk 2077 fine, but it didn't have ray tracing. So I actually went out and bought a 3070 Ti specifically so that I could get ray tracing to experience Cyberpunk, because the graphics were so amazing. So I love graphics, but that still takes a back seat to story and characters. The writing has to pull me in. And I have no doubt that the writing and the story would pull me in. It's just, unfortunately, this is one of those games, as I said, that it's just too dated for me now. I tried it. I couldn't do it. It's just too dated. And it's like, Ian over here, none of this bothers me. None of these graphics bother me at all. I'm talking about the clunky interface and just the inventory system and the jerkiness of it all. That's what bothered me. I guarantee you the story, from what even I see in this video, is like, it's excellent and would be very compelling. So if you are not addicted to instant gratification and graphics, give these old games a try. They are masterpieces.
Wondering why this game is ridiculous? It's because Fallout 1 did what newer games can't do for me today, and that's keep me there until the end. It gave me such a unique experience, especially today when it seems like most games that are coming out are just cookie-cutter copies meant to try and print money. Despite its dated graphics and occasionally clunky interface, Fallout 1 will now remain a...
Okay, it's not occasionally clunky. I have a pretty decent rig. It's not a top-of-the-line rig by any means. It was 7 years ago when I built it. Nowadays, it's about mid-level, because that's how powerful I built it in 7 years ago. It's about a mid-level rig right now, 3070 Ti graphics card, 64 gigs of RAM. So, it's not a wimpy machine, but it's not top of the line either. This was clunky to me, and it wasn't occasionally clunky. It was clunky all the way.
Classic for me. If you're a Fallout fan and you've never touched this game in the series, play it. Yes, it's an older game. It will be a hurdle to get used to how it plays, but it still has that Fallout flair that everyone loves it for. Where else do you think the newer games got theirs? It started here, in the original Wasteland. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and start my second playthrough and try not to die over 50 times. And while I do that, go watch my other videos and enjoy those.
Alrighty, so that was... I tried to play Fallout 1 it would have been 2024 for this guy when he released this video. And, a lot of what he said I agree with. But I do disagree with him about the occasional clunkiness. It's a very clunky interface. I couldn't do it. And as I've said, I love a lot of the old games. I still play a lot of the old games. Like I just finished playing Pools of Radiance. And I have started Champions of Krynn and Curse of the Azure Bonds. So 2 old SSI gold box games. I've been playing them off and on. Like, I don't get to play as much as I like, but I've been replaying them. I played them back on the Commodore 64 back in the late 80s when they came out. So this is just going over what I've already done, because I love the old SSI gold box games. I really do. But yeah, so I don't mind the old games, but there's just some old games that I just struggle with. Fallout 1 and 2 were 2 of them. Deus Ex 1 and 2, Invisible War were 2 of them. And again, Human Revolution, Deus Ex Human Revolution is it's my number 4 game of all time. All time. I freaking love that game. It is a masterpiece of writing. Graphics still hold up to this day, even though it's an older game now. Well, not older, but it's like 15 years old or something like that now. But graphics hold up, and I still replay it. It's a masterpiece of a game. But when I tried to play Deus Ex 1 and 2, because same thing, they were not marketed back in the 90s as RPGs. They were marketed as first-person shooters. I had no interest whatsoever in first-person shooters. None. Nil. And so when I did try to play them, I guess about a decade ago now, they were just too clunky and it didn't work for me. And then the revisionist patch came out and I loaded that up hoping that improved things, and it did improve things, but it was still too clunky. It's like I would love for a studio or even an indie studio to remaster Deus Ex 1 and 2 and remaster Fallout 1 and 2 to modern day standards. I mean, I would buy those in a heartbeat and play them. Absolutely no second guess about them. You know, just give me those games. Just update the engine and the interface so that it's, you know, it's Fallout 3, Fallout 4 interface, Fallout New Vegas interface. You know, it doesn't have to be the brand spanking new Fallout 4, which isn't all that new anymore, but, you know, it doesn't have to be that. It could be 3, it could be New Vegas. It's just got to get up to that part rather than the pre-part. So anyway, yeah, I watched this and I really liked this video. And like I said, I have a buddy that loves these games. He absolutely loves these games. So one of the reasons I watched the video is to see what Andrew kept talking about. So anyway, that's my video for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share does me wonders, and I do appreciate it. Takes 1 second to subscribe, costs you absolutely nothing, helps me immensely. Just hit the subscribe button on the bottom of the screen. Always feel free to leave a comment. I encourage everybody to leave a comment. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a talk. What do you agree? What do you disagree? Feel free to leave comments. Not only does that get us interacting, but it really does help me with the YouTube algorithm and getting more eyes on my videos, which I desperately need on this channel. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.